All right, we are back. Welcome back to GDC 2013 here at Evolve headquarters, brought to you by, of all things, Evolve, who you are watching us stream through and play games on right now. Twitch.tv, of course, where you're watching this all happen, and Alienware, who has been nice enough to help us out with some laptops to play games on. So I am here with my buddy Jakob. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Excellent. Feel free to
my name is Jakob Andersen. I'm from a small I'm still have the jet lag.
well, don't worry. I'm a little hungover, so it should balance out. Nobody should notice. Alright. So you're working on a game right now called Heroes and Generals.
Yeah, we've been working on this game for quite some time now, and we have just moved into an open beta period where we obviously everybody can get in.
So anybody watching this right now, if they wanted to go and download your client server,
they can do it right now. Yeah, get straight into the game.
Get straight into the game. So let's talk about it a little bit. Your game is really interesting in that it's a first-person shooter with RTS elements as well. Yeah. Like it's kind of an FPS RTS, depending on how you want to play.
Yes, that's true.
So let's start off. Let's talk about the first-person shooter aspects, because I think that's going to be the easiest for people to wrap their head around.
That's also where the game actually starts. When you sign up, you get to play a little non-multiplayer test game before we actually throw you into the hardcore players that will probably shoot you.
Yeah. So you get a little bit of help at first.
Yeah. And say the basic first person. Obviously, it's a browser game. It's free to play, so it has what you would expect from games like this. When you start the game up, you'll be asked to choose a character. You're soldier.
Your class.
You get the basic character in the beginning with the normal assault rifle and go straight into the game.
Nice.
The actual gameplay of the first person shooter is sort of like a group based, team based,
like team combat.
Yes, and when Rune starts to play over here.
Here, you know what? We can, while we're talking about it, why don't we bring up the first person stuff?
Yeah,
and
it's a bit important for us to actually have the game has to have some social elements, so it's not entirely single player like a one person effort. It has some.
You gotta work as a team. Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna feel, you can't be the lone wolf out there on his own, like he can get behind enemy lines and take out the Kaiser or something.
It's pretty clear there that the players right now that knows how to work together, they also win the battles because it plays into that
nice.
Covering each other. And stuff like that.
Is there VoIP then voice
people actually, we had put something on at some point, but people actually just use their own stuff, so we just thought,
so you're not people are just like getting onto Skype with each other while they're playing or something.
They're using whatever they because they have all the clans and everything's set up anyway.
Oh, nice. So they already have their own teams.
Yeah.
Nice. So cool. So what are some of the classes that you're going to be able to play as in the first person mode? Like this is a World War II shooter,
yes,
right?
It's a World War II shooter. We have different army sections, so you can actually play as the army, or you can play as armor, as like tank battles, or you can play as the Air Force. So in the basic layout, you have three different services you go into. Either you go to the army, where you can play your rifleman, and you have the armor, where you get to be a tanker, so you can drive tanks and shoot tanks.
Let's just go drive. I just want to drive tanks. Forget everything else. You don't need anything else in the game.
Tanks are cool, yeah. And then obviously you can be a pilot, fighter pilot. So you can actually take your plane and try and bomb those tanks with the.
Oh, nice.
So it all plays together with different vehicles and different characters in the actual game. I'll explain stuff like that a little bit later, but it's all like a mix of all the different classes. The army guys, if you play the regular infantrymen,
the grunts down on the ground.
That's actually the ones that have the most different type of equipment. Obviously, the tankers' equipment are different tanks, so the regular soldier is not that different. It's just a soldier. army guys that they have the possibility to use a lot of different weapons like machine guns and rifles and pistols and knives and even a shovel you can hit with it.
Nice. Are snipers also like
snipers also, yeah. Also you can have your bazookas and you can have mines,
nice.
Personal mines. So you can actually that's one of the things that the snipers usually do is like they take the personal mines with them and then just stick them behind their back. So whenever
nice.
they're hunting, nobody can sneak up on
or they'll just suicide bomb themselves essentially.
If they
get the well, it balances out, right? Because they'll get the negative one from killing themselves, right? Or do you guys have negative death points in this game?
Yeah, we actually have.
Yeah,
that's
so it just keeps them neutral. Well, here's what I want to know: could you put a sniper in a plane and have somebody in one of these bombing planes, like just picking people off on the ground?
In theory, yes, you could. It's probably going to be really hard because you need to team up with a pilot that can actually land the plane so you can get in. But that's entirely possible to do.
Nice. So your pilot, you actually need skills in order to fly these planes properly.
Yeah, you do.
Not quite like flight simulator level.
No. It's actually it is fairly easy. It's fairly arcadey in flying, but just flying a plane is difficult in comparison to actually just driving a vehicle because you move in 3 dimensions and that just makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, definitely.
But we are definitely trying to make the game as accessible as possible.
All right.
We have different. And I need to explain a little bit more about one of the other classes. Is like obviously the recon. You have already been into that with the sniping and all that. That's a special class. But we also have a paratrooper class, so you can actually join as a paratrooper and jump out of planes and fly away to the battlefield, which is really nice.
And people, while you're like flying or jumping out of the plane and you got your parachute out, can people like shoot out your parachute?
They can't shoot your parachute, but they can shoot you.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And obviously we have anti-aircraft guns on the ground, so people can jump in and start
shooting in the air and hoping they get you with a mortar.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, and we have all sorts of different weapons that we expect to find on the battlefield. We're constantly adding more content to the game, so with each release cycle, we'll be adding more and more tanks and weapons and guns. And we're very community driven, which means that we have a very nice and strong community that sometimes we look very vocal about what they want in the game, and we sort of like try to service them as the best we can by providing they scream, we want this kind of gun, okay, then up prioritize that gun instead of the others. So
nice. Well, the one thing you guys have that I've never really seen in a first-person shooter military game before. That's right, sirens in the background because this is a live stream. Anything can happen. That just proves how live it is right there. That's evidence that we are keeping it real. Because this is San Francisco, and if you don't know about San Francisco, there is something going on constantly. There's an emergency to take care of. But back to your game, now that the sirens are gone. You guys have bikes in a first-person shooter.
Oh yes,
like
yes,
that's freaking crazy. You're like just gonna stroll around Vienna on a bike while you're being shot at by like Nazis or something.
Actually, it's because if you're gonna have vehicles in a game, you have to have really large maps as well, because it doesn't really make sense to have a plane in a map that's like only a little tiny city thing. So
instead of ATVs or like quads or something.
But it's actually you playing the normal soldier. You need to be able to actually get from A to B fairly quickly in order to not just walk all the way or run. That's just really annoying to just have to run along.
I wouldn't.
And the other vehicles we have, the jeeps and we also have motorcycles like side wagons and stuff. But those vehicles are sort of like upgrades to some of we call them assault teams, which is like a little group of players. That's where the generals part comes in. The generals actually choose the composition of what kind of players, what kind of class you're playing, and what kind of vehicle you bring into the war. But in order to have something where if you just dropped into the game, they're standing here with your rifle. There should be something so you can actually move pretty fast. And that's where the bikes come in, and it's a pretty funny idea.
So like let's say like I'm a new player and I'm just getting into the game and I don't like have any friends. I'm like not on Skype. Like what's the easiest way for me to get immersed into the game? Like, are there going to be people in the world that are like there to help me already, or
you as I said before, you're joining in with a character or the soldier, and as you play along with the soldier, you earn XP and you rank up, obviously. And when you join in the game, there will be somebody on your team with a higher rank than you. So the highest ranking player in each of these little groups is going to be designated the squad leader. So he will probably, if he's a good player, he will probably tell you what to do. So it's just to run over here and shoot this guy.
So it's just like in the real military, like you got the most experienced, like intelligent player leading the pack, showing everybody else how to survive.
Yeah, but it's totally free for you to actually you like do what he tells you. If you want to just run off and
so you can disobey orders.
Yeah. There's no it's not like it's a player-driven system, so there's no penalty for not doing it. It's only rewards for actually doing what he tells you.
Cool. So. And then, so on top of all of these action elements, you guys have these real-time strategy elements for people that aren't necessarily good at first-person shooters, which sounds really interesting to me because I'm really good at first-person shooters, and my friends are really good at RTS games, and they don't really like playing first-person shooters necessarily, but it sounds like this is a good way for those two genres to like cross over and get like keep friends playing together that aren't necessarily into the same genre.
It's a system where on the very basic level you could say that the generals or the commanders, they control the resources you put into an action game. So they control how many, like basically it's spawn tickets, how many men are we going to throw at this battle, how important is it to win this battle. If it's really important, they'll throw 150 soldiers into the game and you can actually respawn 150 times before.
Oh wow!
So it's a lot about resource management rather than pure strategic game. It's obviously they control which types of resources that are committed to each battle as well. If they need to take a city, they might throw in some tanks to start shelling the city before they have infantry moving in and capturing the points in the city.
Nice. So how do those interactions actually take place, like in the game?
In the game, we have on the website. The main interface of the game is actually run via a website where you go in. You can have modify your characters and all that stuff. And then we have
what's the name of the website, just so folks can go check it out?
Heroesandgenerals.com.
Heroesandgenerals.com. What a perfect website name for a game called Heroes and Generals.
Well, actually, if you go to heroesandgenerals.com, you will probably go to our landing page first. We have to sign up, and then you go straight into the game.
Okay.
Obviously you can choose to play our little First Blood. It's called a little single player campaign before you get into the multiplayer game. Just
get a little taste.
Yeah, just you can set up your machine and see how the controls works and stuff, and then it's like a safe environment. You can even try a few of the weapons in the First Blood mission, like the bazookas, and we have the German Panzerfaust and all that stuff. So we have there's a little sandbox for players to
just kind of get a feel, get a vibe for like what they'll be doing in game.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So we've got the game ready to like run the demo. Should we just like hop in and check it out and like go through like the different aspects?
I'll explain some more about these assault teams when we move along.
It's always better to be able to show people the game, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. Cool.
So the players on the map is actually divided into smaller groups than you have like 18 versus 18 at the moment, but it's divided into, you could say, 3 teams versus 3 teams, and each team is like 6 players, and we kind of like feel that we shouldn't put too many players in each team because it's hard to manage a large group of players, and so we'd rather actually put some more different teams in smaller groups of players.
Nice. Alright, so we're just waiting for 1 second. Alright, 5 seconds, just a sec, folks.